Ascentic is a team of cloud developers and data scientists in Sri Lanka with a specialty in cloud solutions from backend infrastructure to design of applications and analytic tasks. We also have with us ISM APAC as part of the ISME group. Now, ISM is a global player when it comes to innovative e-commerce solutions with offices in the USA, the Netherlands, UK, Ukraine, and Germany, building e-commerce solutions on the platforms of Sana Commerce. And representing ISM APAC is Mikil Skippers, CEO and Managing Partner of Sana Commerce of ISME Group. Now, Mikil has been helping distributors and manufacturers build web stores since 1999 and is driven by international growth and building a company culture that promotes an entrepreneurial way of working, a learning mindset, and team spirit. While we warmly welcome our two panelists, I would also like to very warmly welcome our very own Rukshani Vidyaratna, Senior Relationship Manager at Great Place to Work in Sri Lanka, to moderate this panel. So Rukshani, over to you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to have you here today. So thank you very much, Kaneru, our own Kaneru, for the generous introduction as well. First of all, congratulations to all the companies who made it to the best small and medium workplaces in the IT and IT-enabled services industry. Best wishes to all of you. And I would like to warmly welcome our panelists, Mikil, all the way from Netherlands. Hi, Mikil. And Anna all the way from Sweden. Hi, Anna.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, and also everyone who's tuned in, welcome to the event today. So the webinar theme for today is driving growth amidst crisis in the IT and IT-enabled services industry. I would like to invite our participants to send your queries through the chat box, and I will direct them to the panel at the end of the Q&A session as well. So without further ado, I would like to ask my first question from Mikil. Mikil, what makes you so special, the ISM APAC? Why is it a great place? And how do you think you're different? What do you think are the secrets of your success?
Yes, thank you for that question. And it was already said in the introduction, I think, right? What we aim for as a business and as the culture that we're looking for is a culture of like we call entrepreneurial spirit and high growth. So that's I think something that you can really feel in our company and that a lot of our people really enjoy. It creates a lot of energy. You know, this is absolutely key for us. But I think what is also absolutely foundational to our success in Sri Lanka and in the world, to be honest, is that we have a very flat organization, a very flat culture in the company with very little hierarchy. And here in the Netherlands, in general, there is very little hierarchy. Everybody speaks to anybody. We noticed that when we started operation in Sri Lanka, that's of course less common there to have less hierarchy. But we really put a lot of efforts in bringing that low hierarchy environment also to Sri Lanka. And I must say, in all honesty, that we have really succeeded in that. It wasn't always easy. But with that, we have been able to build this, pretty unique culture where, for instance, everybody within our organization is sitting on the same floor, management, top management, everyone, not just in Sri Lanka, by the way, also in Rotterdam and across all our other offices. Super important for us to send the message to anyone. We're all equal here. If you have an idea, speak up. Don't feel like, you cannot talk to someone or you cannot raise your voice, or bring your ideas or your opinions forward. That's really the culture that we have been aiming for from the start and succeeded in implementing. I think a lot of people, especially maybe the younger generation, really enjoys that, because now they really feel that they can speak up, that their ideas are being heard, and they don't have to climb the ranks in the organization before they can make an impact. So that is and has always been very crucial for us.
Okay, so that was really nice. And challenges, if I say challenges, what are the challenges you had in Sri Lanka, bringing in that culture into Sri Lanka?
Well, for instance, when we started to design this office floor, right, you can imagine that some managers coming from all other organizations that were used to having their own office or having a bigger desks with, you know, kind of these what we call kind of a little bit status symbols. And we said, no, sorry, that doesn't fit our culture. Of course, not everybody maybe understood that or maybe didn't like that or had to get used to that at least. So I think those are some of the challenges that we had to deal with. But I also saw that once we just, you know, started in that way, that everybody enjoyed it. Also the senior managers who might be coming from different organizations and different experiences, they really bought into the idea that we had, but it took a little bit of time, I think, to get there collectively, right?
Yeah, great, thanks. I'll move on to Anna now. So Anna, what is your people philosophy at ISM APAC and, Accentic, and how do you keep employees engaged as well? And why is Accentic different from other companies as well?
Right. Well, so Accentic is a very young company. We started off only 4 years ago in Sri Lanka. And when we came to Sri Lanka and the Sri Lankan market, you know, we saw there's a lot of really great companies here. So, you know, these techies, they have a lot of great places that they can choose from. So for us, coming with a brand that no one have ever heard of, and building it from scratch and like really having the ambition to build this company on the very best people, and that would want to stay with us for a long time, you know, we quickly realized that in order to build that kind of company, we have to provide a workplace that is outstanding and that is giving these people something that they can't get in any other company. So I believe that having that kind of vision and that kind of goal from the beginning, that we will be the best workplace in Sri Lanka, and like really getting our employees and our team members on board to that journey, like how do we actually build this greatest workplace in Sri Lanka? I think that has been one of our success factors, because that has sort of forced us to be very open and listening from the beginning on what is actually important for you guys. Is it this, you know, ping pong table, or is it about being able to have open and good communications with senior management and, you know, anyone in the company? So yeah, the culture that we have built in Accentic from day one has been built on the input and the constant dialogue and discussion with our team, and I think that has been really the success factor.
Right.
And on, like, you know, what is setting us apart, and I think what we're like often getting in our surveys when we're talking with our team members, when, you know, when they're saying like, okay, we can really feel a great culture here, I would say it really comes down to the basics about we feel that we can openly go and talk to anyone in the company. It doesn't matter if it's the CEO or if it's the most senior technical lead or whoever it is. The input and suggestions will always be greeted in a positive way, even when it is like, you know, the intern telling the CEO that, hey, you're thinking completely wrong here. You have to think about this as well. You know, just having that kind of an open dialogue in the company is something that's really felt and appreciated.
Great. So to retain your employees, how has being a great place to work helped you?
No, I think that's definitely something that helps us a lot, both in terms of attracting people. They see us on the list, they see that like, okay, so these people seem to be doing something good because they are getting this international award for being good workplace. And also just the fact that we're having this survey, we're going through this process, we constantly have to like reevaluate also like, okay, what are we doing? Are we doing like enough? Can we do even more, and what kind of practices can we also get inspired from other companies to actually build an even better workplace?
Great, thanks. So in summary, it's about communication and retaining people with the culture we develop, right? And now about the, my question again to Mikhil now. It has been a very challenging nearly 2 years of the pandemic. So what are the steps you're taking to mitigate these risks in the business aspect, as well as helping the employees in their health and well-being as well, and in their physical and psychological part, in the health as well?
Yeah, good question. And of course, we immediately responded in March of last year. And we recognized, especially as a global company, like this is something happening, we need to take action right now. So we were one of the first companies, I think, in Sri Lanka to ask everybody to start working from home, or to allow people to work from home. And it was on the 13th of March, I remember very well. And so what we did is we asked, made sure that within a day, all the equipment was in people their homes, so they could start working from home. We asked them, what other equipment they needed. So at some point also we gave them an allowance to acquire extra equipments for in their homes, and that was absolutely key, right, for the safety of the people, to make this transition as soon as possible. Of course, not knowing how long this would last. One thing we really focused on is communication. Make sure that we were fully transparent on what do we see happening across our different offices, but also in the market, how are our customers responding, what can we do, right? So the first thing we ask our people, whatever you do, keep the commitments to our customers, because they are absolutely crucial at these points, because they are also in crisis mode at the moment. And although we're switching to working from home, which was new for most of us, we said, let's do everything we can to keep our commitment to our customers. And that worked out really well. But we made them, so in terms of physically, everybody worked from home, and still, of course. And then from a psychological perspective, we did a lot of things. We said, okay, first, communication. You need to know what's going on in the company. We need to know that first, you're safe when it comes to your job. And we will tell you if we're coming to this point where, we might not be able to take other measures, right? Nobody knew around that time. So we say, this is the track that we're on. This is worst case scenario. This is, so we constantly communicated, first on a weekly basis, then on a monthly basis, like, hey, what can you expect? And that there was full transparency, because we thought it was, for psychological safety, that was one of the key areas that people are thinking, what does this mean for my job now and in the future? So communication there was key. And then we did a lot of, training sessions online, right? How do you switch off at the end of the day, right? When we're in this still environment, you don't have this natural transition from work to home, personal life. How do you switch off? So we did, a number of training. We did meditation training, health and well-being training. We had at some point a full month of those kind of sessions. We did a number of things. We sent out newsletters bi-weekly saying, hey, these are some great tips that you can have a look at. Recently, we started to reduce our meetings from like 60 minutes to 55. So people have always this break in between. So constantly, we're taking these actions, but also asking for feedback. We got this tool that gives us feedback where we ask questions to our people on a weekly basis. We do we have done some surveys, gathering information like what's going on. We don't see our people. What is going on when they're sitting behind their computer at home, and what is it that they need for their mental well-being?
Great. So that is from the CEO perspective. I'll just ask you, as an employee there, do you think you have succeeded as a CEO doing all these other things to maintain the physical and psychological well-being of the employees?
In all honesty, I cannot answer like for 100% of the people. I'm sure that people have struggled and are still struggled with the situation that they're in. So I must be honest that we haven't completely succeeded at it 100%. However, I don't think there is too much more that we could have done, because that's a question we constantly ask ourselves. What more can we do, right? And I told our people, give us feedback. If anything comes up, if you need anything, let us know. But it's so hard when people you're not able to see the person, look them in the eye in real life, so to speak. And so that's tough. So I don't think there's much more we could have done.
I think you have done a very good job with all those. And I just asked you that because we just want to know how the employee will think as well. And I'll move on to Anna again. Anna, so what do you have done? What have you, the Ascentic company has done to make sure that the psychological and the physical well-being is taken care of your employees as well? And how is the business continuity? Has it helped with the feedback from you, what you have done, helped on business continuity as well? Anna, you're on mute. Okay. I think we need help on unmuting Anna. And I have requested to unmute.
Right.
All right.
So now it was okay. Right. Yeah. So obviously, a tricky situation. You know, you're not really expecting to be faced with a pandemic. You know, that's an unusual situation for anyone. So first of all, like when it comes to the practicality of this, in Ascentic, we have actually had the flexibility to work from home from the beginning. Since in Colombo, as you guys know, the traffic can be horrible. Some of our team members had to travel like 2 hours in traffic every morning, and in some cases, you know, they were able to be more productive, have a better work day actually working from home. So we actually had that kind of flexibility and that opportunity from even before the pandemic. So on a practical, in a practical perspective, the change was not that big when we were forced to actually, for most of the time, work from home. However, of course, on the physical and mental, social aspects, of course, this is a huge change. You know, it's one thing that you have the option. You can stay at home to some day and sit and work, and when you have to stay at home and you're not able to go to an office and get some break for maybe your kids or your home that you might be wanting a change from. We have, just as in ISM APAC, I heard, you know, taken some measures on the practical for the practical enablement of this, making sure that people have get some extra allowance for extra data, since the data consumption has, of course, like gone through the roof this last year, and of course making sure that everyone has good equipment and so to be able to fully do their work. We have been investing a lot also on the social or psychological aspects of this, because what we don't get when we don't have the office to meet up in is this, you know, informal chit chat, this, you know, like quick talk between the meetings and well, just sitting next to someone at the desk. So what we've been doing is trying out so many different ways to do that kind of interaction, the informal, fun, you know, human to human interaction online instead. We've been doing digital after works in these fun virtual meetup spaces. We've been doing meme challenges to get people like laughing together about common things that we are all facing, and so many different ways to just make sure that we are also enabling that human to human connection and not just tuning into a meeting and getting straight into the work. So that's what our team has been focusing a lot on the last year. And yeah, on the question on, like, you know, have we done enough, those kind of questions, it is really difficult to say, because I think in this kind of situation, you know, everyone feels also that this is not an ideal situation. We would definitely not want to have it like this, but I think there also the communication comes in. We have to communicate about what kind of situation are we in, what will be required from everyone to like for us to get out of this as a team and as a company together, and just for the feeling of safety that, okay, I'm not able to go and meet my company, I'm not able to go and meet my team members, but I still have them there. I can send out a chat, I can talk with someone, and they will still be there for me, just as if we were at the office together.
Thanks. Obviously, we don't know where to stop because we don't know what else to do when all the options are given, just like Nikhil said. So it's a matter of time and matter of adjusting to this normalcy as well, even though we've been in about 1.5 years now in the pandemic. So before I move on to the Q&A, I would just like to check the chat on what we have. So one of the main questions which has been directed in the Q&A is the best practices, which we also spoke about on what we can do. So I'll just share it with both of you. Anyone can answer me. So how are you maintaining business continuity? It was one of the main questions I asked before. And how do you think from here onwards, if the normalcy changes back to the way how it was, how are we going to move on as well?
Yeah, let me answer those. That's fine, and then probably go to Anna. So yeah, one of the best practices that I want to share maybe is good. So for us, it's all, like I said, it's about transparency, and as I heard also from Anna, it's absolutely key that people feel that they can be heard. And normally in the office that would be easier, right? People would walk up to each other, but that's now not possible anymore. So we would make it really easy for people to give their feedback, and that's why we use this tool that's called Office Vibe. And what it does for us, it sends employees, like I think bi-weekly, like questions like, how are you doing? How's the interaction with your manager, with peers? And all the time it's different questions. And based on all this information, that gives us a clear indication how our team's doing, how our office is doing, how is our global company doing. And it allowed us to keep track of the ups and downs of teams and locations as we move to the different stages of this pandemic. So that's definitely a best practices. And in addition to this question, like on a 1 to 10 point scale, there was also an opportunity to answer open-ended questions to give us additional feedback. And I go through that personally through all the comments that I get from all of our more than 500 employees around the world. And I sit and I read through, okay, what's going on here? What's going on here? What are great ideas that somebody in the office may have? What are concerns that people may have? What is actually going really well? And we need to keep doing that, right? So what I want to say is like this is really a best practice that I would recommend to any company, because not everybody will speak up even when they're in the office, but it's easier to put something in a tool like that to keep track on the employee engagement and all the different underlying metrics. So that's definitely something that we'll continue to have, and that's very valuable in assessing how our team around the world is doing.
Your thoughts too, Anna?
Yeah, no, so I agree. I think having those kind of anonymous feedback tools is critical, and as a complement to also like checking in with people, asking for feedback on direct matters or projects or new initiatives that you enter into the company. So having those ways for people who are not feeling comfortable sharing their thoughts or their question or their input publicly, you have to have that kind of way for those people to express themselves. What we're also doing in Ascentic is that we're having a live Q&A session in every monthly meeting where those kind of questions can be brought up, and we give our responses to them. So anything that people are wondering about and that other people might also be wondering about or have input on, we would be discussing in those kind of sessions. And on the business continuity, as mentioned, since we have from the beginning have a setup where our teams will be distributed geographically, we have had that sort of as like the practice built into the organization from day one. So that has also like forced us to have proper tools, proper processes to make sure that works, regardless of if a person is working from home or from the office. The work can continue, and we can continue continue to deliver for our customers. So it's definitely something that is important to think about, like, okay, whatever like will happen to this company or to the context of this company, how can we make sure that we will actually be able to keep doing what we're doing without any major changes when that happens.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Thank you.
And regarding the question that you asked for going forward, like one of the things that we will keep as well is, of course, this hybrid way of working, right? I think everyone is pretty excited about that, especially what Anna referred to, the crazy commutes that some people have. I'm very, very happy that we can give people back a little bit of that time, right? And that they can at least spend a couple of days per week working from home, because it has proven to work out. And I think that will be a big improvement compared to how things were. So I'm excited for our colleagues in Sri Lanka that will now be an option.
Great, thanks. Mikhail, so what are the onboarding processes you have taken up in this pandemic situation?
Yeah, it's rather simple. All online, right? So from the whole interview process through the onboarding, and this also touches upon another question that has been asked in the chat. So how do you improve collaboration within your team? And the same goes with the onboarding, is just speed up do more check-ins. So, daily check-ins, we asked our managers at the beginning of the pandemic, please do a bi-weekly check-in with your team now, especially in the first bi-daily check-in with your people, right? Check-in in the morning, check-in in the end of day, see how they're doing. Just speed up or accelerate this kind of communication. I think that was absolutely key for us to improve collaboration within the team. So having more meetings, maybe bi-weekly meetings with the full team, and then assessing what is needed to keep the collaboration going. And the same goes with the onboarding. Especially now everything is online. There were some periods where we could have newcomers come to the office for a couple of days, but not at the moment. So now everything is done online, but we just increase the frequency of online check-ins to make sure that they are being taken care of. But it's much tougher. I think I'm feeling a lot of feeling for the new people joining any company in the pandemic, and not walking into the office and getting to meet people and get a feel for the company, but just starting behind the desk in your living room, maybe. I think that's very, very tough to get up to speed, to get to know people, but it's the only way we now feel we can go because of the health and well-being of everyone.
Okay, great. So Anna, now I believe you also have different age groups in your organization. So how do you think, do you need any different ways of communicating to these different age groups?
No, definitely. The industry changes, and people who are like now coming into the industry, and people who have been in the industry for a long time, they've seen like very different ways of working and like practices and what is generally practiced in the industry. So with that, of course, you have to take that into consideration. For me, it is a bit about just understanding that the people that you have in your organization, they will come from different backgrounds, they will have different experiences and perspectives coming in, and in how you communicate, how you greet those different people, you have to be aware that some people will have completely different thoughts and opinions on how things should be done or is best to be done, and just being open to that, listening in, and trying to get those different perspectives and thoughts out as much as possible, because when you get that out, that is when you can start discussing it and seeing to can we come to a common ground here. So definitely age groups, as well as other kind of differences in the team. It's something that really benefits the organization as a whole, but it's something that also creates another need for putting in the effort to make those different perspectives being heard, and discussed and just brought into the organization.
Great. So, Mikhail, how has your global presence helped you to overcome this crisis?
Well, I think thanks to our global overview, we very early on recognized how big this was and how fast everyone was being impacted. So I think that helped us with the decision to say on the 13th of March already, okay, let's start working from home, because this is very, very serious, and this is the only way moving forward. And then, of course, it helped with our scale that we have as a business. We're a very stable company. Very solid, so we were able to keep every one of our employees on board. So the stability that came from the international company gave us more security, I would say.
Right. So how do you suggest to amend any welfare policies in the organization to cater this situation as well? And going forward, we will also have a normalcy again, as I told before. So how are we going to cater to that as well with the welfare policies which you have amended or thinking of amending?
I think a lot of the things will stay in place, right? Like I said, people will be able to still work from home at least a couple of days per week. So I think that will help with overall health and well-being of the people. But also the other the other things that we put in place, like regular trainings, regular check-ins, I believe we will keep those. So a lot of good things that are hopefully coming out of this whole pandemic and the crisis that we have faced. Is that what you were referring to, or did you mean something?
Yeah, so whatever the welfare policies, maybe to working from home and what else you have been doing. Yeah, so you mentioned about communicating and being transparent as well. So yeah, that's exactly one of the main things which both of you have mentioned as well. And we see that it has been fruitful, obviously, for you to become a great place to work as well. And so I'll move on to Anna again. Anna, so what else have you done to in your welfare policy range as well?
Well, so our different policies and how we are as a company, as mentioned, this is something that we are continuously reevaluating and seeing, like, how can we become even better? How can we be, be the kind of workplace that people need, and with how the situation changes, like how can we adopt with that? So I would say, like, of course, like a pandemic, it creates like you sort of get another kind of opportunity to reflect on, how sustainable are we as a company? What do we need to provide for our team members to be sustainable through these kind of things? But the work that we are doing with our policies and how we are like evolving our welfare work in the company, that I would say is a continuous progress that we will basically keep on evolving, as we have been evolving it over the last 4 years.
Okay, great. Right. So as leaders in this industry as well, I'm directing it to both of you. So what are the messages which you can give to, we say 1 or 2 messages, say, this is good, this is bad, best tips. What can you share with the team with us?
Anna, you want to go first?
Yeah, so if I will just start with, like, for me, coming into this kind of industry and building a company on, like people and their knowledge and their motivation, for me, it's absolutely crazy to think that, like you can't invest and focus, put in a lot of effort in this area. For me, it's just like it's crazy to think that you can build a sustainable business without having that top of mind, because in the end of the day, that is what will be your business, the people who are actually making it happen. So like my main message would be to, like, to just have that as one of the absolute like top priorities of the organization, and not getting stuck in, okay, but this is how, what has worked before, or this is how other companies tend to be doing it. Really like listening into your own organization and seeing, okay, what will actually make the biggest impact for our team members today and in the future.
Yeah, Mikhail?
I'm pretty much aligned with that. My answer would be communications and two-way communications. I hope we have all even more so learned that during the pandemic, how important it is to ask your team members and managers and everyone, like, hey, what is needed to provide you with the physical and mental health and well-being, but also tools, etc., to succeed in these challenging times. So the the communication both ways, asking for more information to understand, and then regularly communicating back to the people and the teams and the individuals, say, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is what, based on your feedback, this is what we're planning to put in place, and constantly keeping everyone updated. I think that's what I learned throughout the pandemic, how much it was appreciated, especially in the first week. Got so many emails from people all over the world saying, hey, thank you so much for the emails you send, the monthly updates that you do, the other communication that leaders throughout the company are doing. We understood the need for that, and that's something that I would encourage all leaders to do that, and to keep spending time on finding the right message that is really needed from the people to get, not just during a pandemic or other crisis, but I think in every day, every normal working day, to understand how they fit into the bigger picture and where the company is going. I think that's absolutely crucial for people now and in the future.
Yeah, understood. Since we spoke about communication, let me ask now, we know that a lot of salary cuts were there and a lot of layoffs were there, not only in the IT industry, but in the industry as a whole. So how can you use this communication and being transparent to give this negative news to these people? I'm not quite sure whether you had these things, because IT actually didn't really suffer bad as the other industries. But how do you think, using our communication skills, how can we break this negative news to our employees?
So for our organization, we've actually been able to really thrive throughout this time. So luckily we haven't had any negative impact like that on the business. What I believe in though is to, these are all grown-up people. So to be as transparent as possible, especially in the beginning of the crisis, when no one really knows how this will impact us as an organization, with that, okay, this is a global crisis. It is expected to impact us in some way. At this point, we don't know how, but we all need to get together to try to resolve it in the best possible way. So just, keeping the transparency open, even when it is a bit more negative or a difficult conversation to have, because I think the worst thing that you can end up in is just okay, we don't have any information to give, so we will just not say anything. Then people will start making up their own ideas about what is happening. So also saying that, okay, at this point, it's looking okay, but we don't know what we have ahead of us. That information is good enough to just give the people something to take with them and to handle.
Yeah, I agree. I fully agree with that. It's transparency, right? And of course, if you potentially have to bring that news, then be open and transparent and honest as well. I remember at some point we had conversations with our senior management team in Sri Lanka, and we said, what if we get to that point? And I think with the kind of culture we have built, we felt very strongly that we could gather as a company and say, hey, these are challenging times. What can we do collectively to make it through this without having to let anyone go? Unfortunately, we didn't have to let anyone go. So we didn't even need to have that conversation. But I believe that based on the culture that we have, we were very far off from that point, because there are a number of other steps we could have taken, which would have been much less painful, I think. So I was very confident in our teams and in our leadership teams in Sri Lanka to help us get through that.
That is great news. That is great news. So I think with the time we have about another 7 minutes where we can have about two questions. So there's another question from the chat again. So work from home directly affects the camaraderie of an organization that will impact collaboration among employees, which will deprive performance. How did you counter this? Open for both of you.
Yeah, no, and I think this is a great question, because this is really, what we're losing from meeting in person. We have tried out some different things, and some things have actually been really, really great to just have this kind of feeling that we're all like, still just colleagues, we're still people working together here. One thing is, as mentioned, a meme challenge. That was a huge success. I had a lot of fun with that, and the team had a lot of fun with that as well. There are these as mentioned, these virtual worlds where you can meet up with your team, but sort of like through an video game kind of feeling, and you can do some like singing performances and stuff. So basically, it is an online way to meet, but you do it in a bit more of an informal setting and having some fun laughing together while doing so. Also, just making sure that all the meetings, all the get-togethers start up with something something like an icebreaker, or just checking in how is things going where you are, how is your kid doing with the toothache. Just making sure that we're not losing those questions on the personal aspect, just because we are forced to keep the meetings in Teams and Zoom. So just I would say, like, the most important thing is that we don't do nothing. We have to do something, and have to schedule some time in the calendars to just sit together, drink some coffee or tea, and talk about anything else than work. That is the most important takeaway.
Was it only coffee and tea with you, Anna? With ours, there were also a bit of Iraq, maybe.
There might have been some of those parts of the meetings as well. Yeah.
No, so we had similar things. Of course, we had New Year celebration. We celebrated Fazak online Christmas celebrations. We had games, those kind of things. So yeah, same here. What was funny with us is, like, we are a company across different time zones. And being online now suddenly allowed us to bring in other people. So the drinks might start in Sri Lanka, and at some point the people in the Netherlands, in Ukraine, would join, and then people in the Netherlands would join, and then if people in Sri Lanka would stay on late, they could also meet the people in the US. So at some point that was pretty funny to bring in people from all over the world into these calls. And another example was typically when somebody is with us for 5 years, we have this celebration in the office where we congratulate him and thank him for his or her contribution of these 5 years. And normally that would only be with the people in the office. And now we could also, if we planned that right, we could bring in people from all over the world. And normally I would, for instance, say a couple of words and a short speech. But now people who collaborated with these colleagues from all over the world could jump in and say, hey, we worked on this project, and tell a small anecdote. So these kind of celebrations really transformed for the better due to the fact that it was all online and people from all over the world could join. So, some interesting formats popped up that we potentially can keep after the whole COVID thing. But of course, we cannot wait for everyone to be back in the office and have fun together and I don't know, dance together. That's hard to do online. We tried it once a time. Didn't really work. For dancing together, you need to be in the same location, I think.
Great. That was really nice. Great insights, and thank you very much, both of you, Mikhail and Anna. Mikhail from ISM APAC and Anna from Ascentic. Thank you very much for your insights and your time as well. And we are happy to have you here today as well, and wish you best of luck for the next year and years onwards as well. And I would like to move on to Kanru now. So Kanru, let's go ahead and go and change. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Roxani.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you, Rukhshani. Now that, I'm sure, was very insightful to all of you, and provided some tips on how to create and sustain a high-trust, high-performance culture in your organization as well. Now, let us move on to the most awaited session of the evening, the felicitation of the 10 best small and medium workplaces in the IT and IT-enabled services industry in Sri Lanka for 2021. Before we start announcing, mind you, this list of best workplaces was published for the second consecutive year based on organizations who took part in the study from May 2020 to April 2021. Nearly 30 organizations with over 3,000 employees qualified to this study, and we had representation of organizations ranging from 20 to almost 600 full-time employees. Now, let us first recognize 5 of these 10 best workplaces, ladies and gentlemen, published in alphanumeric order. We also have the leaders of these organizations sharing their experience with you in building and sustaining a great workplace for all their employees. So let's take a look.
Each time we achieve this milestone, it is a brand new achievement for all of us. And we look forward to the next one. Winning it this year in the backdrop of the pandemic makes it even a greater achievement. Over the years, we have witnessed that satisfied and happy employees drive business results. We have an employee-first policy. We at 99X believe in first looking after our employees, who in turn will look after our customers. Being a great place to work is a difference between being a good company and a great company. 99X is a great company with great people, and it is a privilege to be listed once again. And congratulations to all the winners.
Hi, my name is Anna. I'm the CEO and founder of Ascentic, and we're absolutely thrilled to have made it to the top 10 best IT workplaces in Sri Lanka. From day one, we've had the ambition of building the best workplace in Sri Lanka for skilled and driven techies. And for us, it's an absolute must in building a sustainable and successful business. So we're so happy about this achievement. We have so much more that we want to do. So we're so much looking forward to the next years ahead and building an even better workplace for our awesome techies.
Honored to be selected into the top 10 best small and medium IT ITeS workplaces in Sri Lanka, and to be chosen as a great place to work, Sri Lanka. Our team's happiness is the key to our success. The well-crafted GPTW survey helps us with the accurate analysis of employees' sentiments. The emphasis on GPTW's trust, pride, camaraderie, and care has been valuable in our efforts to improve continuously. GPTW has become a hallmark of our positive work culture. A big thank you to our team for the contribution to this great culture. We look forward to engaging with the Great Places to Work to offer exhilarating experience at BoardPack and Iron One in the future too. Thank you.
Hi there, my name is Gihan Dias. I'm the GM of Fancy Technologies, and I'd like to thank the Great Place to Work organization for recognizing CALC as one of the top 10 IT SMEs of 2021. We've always, here at CALC, we've always been recognized that to produce great work, to produce great software, you have to be a great workplace. And so that's why we've invested over the years really in making sure that our workplace is an enjoyable, a fulfilling, a supportive place to work. And it's great to see that recognized. So thank you for that.
So congratulations to all those best workplaces in the IT and ITeS industry in Sri Lanka. Now I know you're very excited to see who the remaining 5 best workplaces are. But before we get to that, let us quickly present to you the study insights from the small and medium best workplaces in the IT and IT-enabled services industry from the study 2021. Now let's make this a bit of an interactive session, ladies and gentlemen. We would like to know from you about what you think are the most important attributes, key differentiators of sorts in the IT industry in Sri Lanka. So let's take a quick poll. You will see on your screen a link to menti.com. You may use your computer or even the mobile phone to type in the link and the password that is there on your screen right now. It will direct you to see our first question. So you may also scan the QR code that you can see on screen right now. Our team has also dropped the link on the chat box. So you may use one of these 3 modes to access the question on Menti, either the link that is being shared on the chat box, or the link and the password you can see on screen right now, or just by simply scanning the QR code. We have also loaded the question on the screen. Please go to the Menti link to respond to it. And we will project your responses as and when they come through. And this, mind you, is anonymous feedback collection, ladies and gentlemen, and you will be able to enter multiple responses as well. So I hope that's clear. And while you move on to the Menti page, let me read out the question for you as well. So let us know what are the most important people practices for IT and ITeS organizations compared to other industries. So when you go into the Menti link, also the same question will appear. Do let us know what you think. We'd like to hear from you. And as you can also already see on screen, we have multiple responses coming. Work-life balance seems to be an area most people consider to be a very important people practice. Collaboration is right up there along with communication. We have significant words like trust coming into play. Work from home, I think, very important in a situation where we are right now. It was also discussed in the panel just before as well. So we have multiple responses coming. We can clearly see communication, work-life balance, teamwork are certain important things or sentiments that most people seem to be thinking are important people practices. That's very interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now have one final question popping up for you. You may go to the same link and the new question will pop up, same menti.com link. Do share with us your thoughts around that as well. If you cannot see the new question, please refresh the page to move to the next question or to the next slide. So let us know what key attributes define a great place to work for the IT and IT organizations or ITeS organizations in the industry. Let us know what you think. And once again, let's take a few seconds till we have responses coming in. Culture, trust, very key term, very important, creating a trustworthy or a trust-centered culture between employees and management it's all about creating a great place to work. So we have, yes, trust and culture seems to be the most prominently felt sentiment. So thank you so much for that. We have so many inputs already coming in. You can see the most talked about are clearly trust, culture. There's pay around there as well, work-life balance, very important. Now, ladies and gentlemen, having taken a look at the sentiment of the group, I know you must be anxious to see the study insights. I'll not hold you up any longer. So let's take a look. You'll be surprised as to how the best in the IT have performed against the rest of the organizations and how the industry is doing in these challenging times, adapting, innovating, and succeeding, and also driving growth amidst the crisis. So ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the study insights video right now. Welcome back. Some very interesting data points there, I'm sure. Certainly, in a chaotic time, the IT industry seems to be doing much better in keeping your employees engaged than most other industries, at least. That is very, very encouraging to see also. All right, so we have 5 more best workplaces to be announced. I know you're very excited. Let's now take a look once again in alphanumeric order, 5 of the best small and medium workplaces in the IT and IT-enabled services industry for Sri Lanka in 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look.
Hello everyone. It is a great pleasure to be recognized as one of the 10 best workplaces in Sri Lanka for the relevant industry for the second consecutive year as a young 5-year-old company. I want to thank our team for reminding us with this judgment that our company is treating our team well and that we must keep it up. I also want to thank Great Place to Work for having this platform for us to be evaluated where we stand. Thank you very much.
For the second consecutive year, getting listed as one of the top 10 small and medium IT companies in Sri Lanka by Great Place to Work is an honor and something really to be proud of. It was far challenging than the previous year given the current situation. Since March 2020, we are working from home mainly since our colleagues' health and safety being the top priority to us. With the pandemic and working from home creating numerous challenges to us, we always take it as an opportunity to develop further and to improve continuously. And in return, this creates ample career development opportunities and a matching working environment to all at eMarketing-i. The credit goes to all at eMarketing-i on this achievement, and a big thank you to the team eMarketing-i for their diligence and unmatching dedication shown throughout.
It's a great pleasure and honor to all of us at EdgeConnect to make it to the list of 10 best small and medium IT and ITeS workplaces in Sri Lanka for the second consecutive year. We believe that the immense number of positive responses which we received on the Trust Index survey in both this year and last year, and the passionate endorsement by our employees of EdgeConnect as a great place to work is a validation of the values we have collectively built into our organization. We remain firmly committed to its further enhancement as we progress in our journey towards continuous improvement, sustainability, and value addition to all our stakeholders. I would also like to congratulate the other esteemed organizations who have made it to the elite list of best IT and ITeS workplaces in Sri Lanka. Thank you.
We are extremely proud to be certified as one of the great places to work for the 4th year and to be in the list for best small and medium IT and IT enabled workplaces in Sri Lanka 2021 since its beginning. This achievement will strengthen ISM and will make a significant contributions to our company's development. We are glad to have the greatest team of people working together as a family. Thank you very much to all my team members.
I would like to stress that these achievements would not have been possible without the great support of our employees. So this belongs to all of our colleagues, all of our team.
We are excited to have this achievement under our belt, and I would like to thank our employees for their continued support, because you make ISM APAC a true great place to work in Sri Lanka.
Synergen Health is a technology-enabled solutions and services company based in Dallas, Texas, with our global delivery center in Columbia. We're excited to be selected as one of the top 10 IT and IT-enabled services company 2 years in a row, and also excited to be part of this great place to work where we have been selected 5 years as a company.
At Synergen Health, we provide technology solutions to healthcare providers and organizations in US. We provide advanced analytics, workflow automation, machine learning, robotic process automation solutions for healthcare organizations.
We are a people-first company, and we believe that happy and motivated employees deliver better innovation, collaboration, and finally, fantastic customer satisfaction. Even with COVID, we had remarkable results, and we want to thank our team for going above and beyond in delivering value to our customers.
As a technology-enabled services company ourselves, it allows us to work with our clients and transform them, set themselves apart within their respective industries.
I'd like to thank all of our clients for trusting us to handle their business over the years, and especially to our team for helping us get to this position and support all our clients. And to our team, thank you for helping us get to this point in our business. We couldn't have done it without you.
Congratulations once again to all our list makers in the second consecutive list of best small and medium workplaces in the IT and IT-enabled services industry in Sri Lanka for 2021. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you recall, we promised you at the very beginning of our event that we will not just be sharing insights with you, but we'll also be sharing best practices from some of these recognized best workplaces. We have compiled for you few best people practices from the IT and ITeS industry. Now, mind you, while we encourage you to learn from these and apply these in your organizations as well, be sure to be able to customize these to make them more unique to match the context of your teams. It's important to think of the impact, the originality, all-inclusiveness, human touch, and the integrations among your own people practices before you roll them out. We're also sharing some verbatim employee comments from the best workplaces based on the responses as to why their organization is a great place to work. So let's take a look once again on the best people practices and what the employees have to say about these best workplaces. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now coming towards the end of our event. But before we conclude, we'd like to share a few important announcements with you. We are pleased to announce that the Great Place to Work Conference and the CXO briefing is taking place on the 31st of August. The conference this year is around evolution, mind you, not revolution of the workplace. We'll have knowledge sharing sessions as usual, case studies, and we'll feature thought leaders from different industries, from different countries as well, all to give you a wonderful experience. And as I'm speaking, you will also see more information on your screen right now. So do save the date and do get in touch with us to make your reservations. You may scan the QR code or use that link, which will appear on the chat box right now to provide your registrations. And next, in a time when employee engagement is probably more critical than ever, we have a very interesting competition which will help you as an organization, not just from a branding point of view, but also most importantly, to keep your employees engaged. We Love Our Workplace video competition is up and running, so do participate. All you have to do is share a video with us, a 2-minute video telling us why you love your workplace. And when you do so, make sure to be creative, super creative, and think out of the box. Registration deadline is just around the corner on the 14th of July. And once again, you will see the registration link in the chat box for We Love Our Workplace video competition as well. Ladies and gentlemen, Great Place to Work also has many services and recognition opportunities coming up for you. You will see them all on your screen right now. Please note to register for these multiple recognition opportunities before the date mentioned underneath each logo. So our team will drop the registration links in the chat box for the next study for the best workplaces in IT and ITeS, best workplaces for millennials, and of course, the best workplaces for women for 2021, which is closing very soon. So in our lineup of lists, we will next be publishing the list of best workplaces for women for 2021. And for those who are not a part of it yet, you can still sign up, complete the assessments in July to be eligible to be considered for this recognition as well. So registrations will only take a short time, ladies and gentlemen, and our team will be in touch with you in absolutely no time. If you are also interested about the other industry-specific recognition opportunities, do connect with us. We'll be happy to help you out there. And not just that, any organization who finishes assessing before the conference on the 31st of August will also have the opportunity to receive their recognition on stage in the event if you are eligible to be recognized. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, we'll greatly appreciate it if you could also click the link you see on the chat right now and give us feedback. You may also scan the QR code once again to access the feedback form right there. We'd like to hear from you and see how we can further improve our webinars to address what's important for you. So thank you very much for your participation today. We hope it is insightful, and congratulations once again for the 10 best workplaces. And it was a pleasure conducting this event. Thank you to the organizing committee, organizing team, and from all of us at Great Place to Work. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great evening.